We ready? Right, everybody who comes to the folk club will know Eric because he's a fantastic regular attendee and a wonderful, wonderful poet. And he will have you in tux, I'm sure, in no time. So please put your hands together and welcome the wonderful Eric Craven.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to be here. I've got the remnants of a chest infection, so if I do a Lewis Capaldi during the evening, forgive me. I don't mean taking my shirt off like he did, but certainly coughing during his act. That may happen. Most of my poems are whimsical, not all of them. Some are hopefully a little bit thoughtful. It'll be a mix tonight. I think musicians have an advantage, certainly over poets, certainly over me, in that we know when they end a song. They have some out chords or they repeat the last line, and you know it. You've got no idea when my poem's over. So I'm going to just say thank you when it's over, and you'll know it's finished. I'm sure there'll be people here who have people they know who are afraid of flying, fearful of flying. And I certainly had someone, but I've found a cure for it. It's written in this poem. It's called My Wife's Fear of Flying. My wife had a fear of flying. It was difficult to get her on a plane. Tranquilizers and red wine were tried. Counselling and therapy were in vain. Our son lives in Beijing. We were desperate to visit him there. Her fear of takeoffs and landings stopped her getting in the air. So I devised a cunning plan. Each month I saved some brass. Eventually I had enough put aside for us to fly in business class. The comfy seats, the flowing champagne, they did the trick for my wife. They took her mind off stormy weather, and I thought I cured her for life. My celebrations were short-lived, however. The fix was temporary for my lovely lass. Now, rather than a fear of flying, she has a fear of economy class. Thank you. This next poem is about a changed order of things where man might not be the top dog anymore. I've called it Manimals. Imagine a gorilla with a sword, a mouse that's bored, a tiger with a smoke, a zebra that spoke, a parrot that can swim, a koala in the gym, a giraffe well-dressed, a sloth that's stressed, a cheetah that cheats, a horse between the sheets, an alligator that hops, a monkey that shops, a panda that can write, a snake flying a kite, a hyena that's sad, a Labrador that's bad, a turtle doing backstroke, a lizard with heat stroke, a goat scolding his kid, a bear with a takeover bid, a crocodile in tears, an ibis drinking beers, a fox that's regretful, an owl looking fretful, a skunk that's drunk, a hippo who's a punk, a skate that can skate, a polar bear for a mate, a penguin having an affair, a meerkat saying a prayer, an emu weeding the garden, a baboon saying pardon. Wouldn't it be ironic, worthy of a gin and tonic, if people were in the zoo and animals were in the queue? Thank you. This is a poem about being on a double-decker bus. I remember them fondly. Atlanteans, do you remember when they first came in? Late 60s, I think. Anyway, this is about a double-decker bus and a journey on it. It's called Thoughts on the Bus. The double-decker trundles the damp streets. People are standing and others fill the seats. A loud squeal of brakes as it heaves to a stop. Passengers get on and off in an orderly swap. A man asks, are we on a Dennis or a route master? I nearly say, who cares which one is the faster? Always pleasant, steady and patient at the helm, our experienced driver treats this as his realm. People hop on and they show their passes. The driver questions a couple of lasses. This is a child's pass, how old are you? Some others hunch up closer in the queue. Coming down those stairs is a serious trial, almost as tough as passing those in the aisle. The bus stops, the doors open with a loud hiss. A dropped glove, I look around. Excuse me, miss? No, not hers. I'll give it to the driver when I get off. Near the back, someone has got a rasping cough. This is my stop, and I head for the door. I tell him I've found a glove on the floor. Put it there, and he points to a shelf by the screen. Lost and abandoned gloves. What a truly sad scene. As I alight, a hurried passenger says, "Excuse me, love." "Sorry," I say, "I'm looking for a lady with just one glove." Thank you. For this one, I'd like you to imagine two children alone in a house and getting a little fearful about what might be outside. It's called There's Something in the Garden. Have you heard it before?
No, just me and my sister did this.
Oh, I see. Oh, well, it might resonate with you then. There's something in the garden. I can see a shadowy shape. There it is behind the shed. I think it's wearing a cape. I wish the moon was full so we could see more clearly. It's pitch black out there. I'm shaking in here. Yes, really. Look, it's moving slowly now. It's heading towards the house. Quick, draw the curtains. Be as quiet as a mouse. Pick up that walking stick. Just whisper so it can't hear. I hope it can't smell too well because it's going to smell my fear. It's trying the kitchen door now. It's double locked, don't worry. It's heading round the front. Put the chain on the door, hurry. The letterbox is opening. I can see a pair of eyes. They're bloodshot and bulbous, the size of mini pork pies. I can smell its pungent breath. Things are becoming quite clear. They're my granddad's eyes, and that smell is beer. Thank you. I've been in education my entire career, many years, and I'm a firm believer that affirmations, rewards, do change people's lives, certainly change behaviour. And I don't mean necessarily tangible rewards like a salary or a prize, but just thank yous and pats on the back. And this is a poem about those. It's called Affirmations. Everyone loves a kind word, a reward, some praise. Those affirmations mean the world to us. A birthday card, a thank you, or even a smile, as long as someone makes a bit of a fuss. Kids adore being told how much they're loved. An arm round the shoulder is often enough. I like a handshake as a gesture of thanks. Anything showing you're valued is great stuff. I still have my cycling proficiency certificate, my badges for swimming those lengths. I remember kind things some teachers said. I was over the moon when one said I had strengths. Some people get nominated for Oscars, others get famous blue plaques. A few get a chest full of medals or a trophy, but most of us just get a pat on the back. Please remember to give out lots of praise. Don't miss the chance to say very well done. Thank yous help us feel just great and make our lives so much fun. Thank you. Okay, this is one I read not so long ago at the club. It's fairly recently written. It's probably, it resonates also with Sue's song about childhood games. This is called When You Were Little. Remember when you were little and everything else was big? For me, the climbing frame at nursery was taller than an oil rig. Remember when you played in the back garden as a tot and your mum approached you with a hanky for your snot? Do you remember when you were on your three-wheeler, your dad had no oil and the front wheel was a squealer? Remember when 2 ounces of dolly mixtures lasted ages and you couldn't have any till Thursday when your dad got his wages? Yeah. Remember when the bin men wore brown leather pinnies and your mum would shout, "Get the bin out, here are the binnies!" Remember the first visit to the barber's for a haircut? You had no say whatever. You just kept your mouth shut. Remember joining the Cubs and being made up you got a cap and your efforts on Bob a Job Week would earn you a clap? Remember when you got your cycling proficiency certificate and your mum was so proud she got it copied in triplicate? Remember on your steering cart using your heels as a brake? When you went too fast, the wheels and the seat would shake. Remember when we had no remote control for the TV? It was your job to change the channel and make the tea. Remember the rag and bone man and he who sharpened the knives? And when your mum and dad knew all about your neighbours' lives? Do you remember pairs of shoes hanging from the lamppost? And for your dinner and your tea, you'd be given beans on toast. Remember playing ollies and conkers and having a well-worn sixer. And those of us having encyclopedias, because we didn't have Alexa. Remember the swings, the slide, the monkey bars in the park? You'd play footy there from early morning till it was dark. Do you remember getting money back on the jam jars you returned? You didn't have Saturday jobs then. That was the way you earned. Remember making your own deckies at Christmas out of crepe paper and lighting the fire each day with a tightly rolled piece of newspaper? Remember waiting outside the pub for your dad to finish his pint? If you were lucky, you'd get crisps and a Coke and told to sit tight. Remember hearing the ice cream van and you'd run in case you missed it? I was told to fetch a 99 with a flake, a wafer ice cream and a strawberry split. Remember when you were tiny and everything else was Titanic? When life was so gentle and calm. These days, life is just manic. Thank you. Okay, I'll finish with this one. Entomology is the study of insects, and this is a poem about a bug's love. I've used all the correct entomological names for these insects, so I hope I can get my mouth around them. It's called a bug's love. With a multi-spot shell like a harlequin, Lily the ladybird looked rather dapper, and Jeremy the buff-tailed bumblebee considered himself somewhat of a rapper. He'd buzz and she'd dance all day long, their friends would nod and crawl on by, but Billy the narrow-headed ant stirred and stirred some more, giving a loving sigh. Billy adored a green tiger beetle named Rose, only Rose's heart had already been taken. She'd been seeing Pablo, a peacock spider, who lodged in an old hedgerow near Blacon. Pablo was a very frosty and arrogant sort, contrasting the lovable and affable Billy. Rose was one for the bad boys, you see, so she found this narrow-headed ant quite silly. Billy plucked up the courage to tackle Pablo, thinking this might impress the feckless Rose. He stood firm and called him a spineless spider. Pablo was shocked, taken aback, and he froze. Rose was very impressed and had to admit she'd not thought Billy could be that strong. Sliding up to him, she fluttered her beetle lashes. Billy felt imposing, but maybe for an ant that was wrong. From then on, Billy was resilient and sturdy. He commanded respect from those who looked on. Rose really loved being on the arm of Billy, until he was eaten by a scarab beetle named John. Thank you. Thanks, folks. See you after.